Oh, this is good stuff. Oh, hello and welcome to the show. I am Joe Tophat. Not long ago, I did a 3-part video counting down the top 15 best episodes of the real Ghostbusters. If you haven't checked it out, click on these links down below. And you really should check them out because it's an awesome cartoon. Well, being a fan of Ghostbusters that I am, it made me excited when Ivan Reitman announced in an issue of Empire that they were working on a brand new Ghostbusters cartoon set for 2018. It sounded really exciting. It's called Ghostbusters Ecto. Great title. Nice way to differentiate it from the original. And it was featuring ghost lore from around the world, like in Japan, China, and Korea. Promising, because the original pulled lore from various other countries and cultures, such as the Christian religion, Babylonian, and various others. And it's going to feature a whole new generation of Ghostbusters. Well, that might work, I like the idea of having different Ghostbusters, and it's also to take place around the world. Sort of like an international Ghostbusters. It's looking really promising, what Ivan Reitman said, since he's the director of the first 2 movies and served as a consultant for the original cartoon. And Dan Aykroyd wanted to do an international Ghostbusters in the very first movie. So, this is looking good. So, is it going to feature Peter, Ray, Egon, and Winston? Well, judging by the article, it seems very clear that it is to be based on the new movie. And the whole thing is to take place in 2050. Now, regardless of how you feel about the new Ghostbusters movie, there is no question that it's a big flop. If you don't believe me, check the box office returns and the views of Paul Frigg, or however you say his name. It made it pretty clear it's not a hit at all, despite what some people may tell you. And it has nothing to do with female Ghostbusters. It has to do with a very basic thing. And that is it ignored the original characters of Peter, Ray, Winston, and Egon. And I feel like this is the problem with this new cartoon. Now, to be fair, this is just a plan in stages, and it's not to be released until, at the very least, 2018. So a lot can change from now till then. But the big mistake they're making is the same mistake the new movie made. We don't want to see anybody else but Peter, Ray, Egon, and Winston. These are the characters that everybody grew up with. The very first movie was about them, as well as the cartoon, the second movie, and even the video game included these 4 characters. Something like this had been tried before in Extreme Ghostbusters. Now, to its credit, they included Egon in it, and even Janine and Slimer were regular characters. But the bulk of it was focused on a new generation. Kylie and so many others I don't even know off the top of my head. Yeah, they did eventually included Peter, Ray, and Winston, but it was only in a 2-part episode. And the problem with that is, they should not have just been in a 2-part episode. They should have been regular characters in the show, because when I first heard about it back in the 90s, I was really excited to see a whole new Ghostbusters cartoon. But the fact that the originals are not a huge part of the show, I'm sorry, I didn't care who these people were. I wanted to see Peter, Ray, Egon, and Winston. The only character I actually kind of like is Kylie from Extreme Ghostbusters, and that's mostly because of the IDW comics that have come out in recent years. You know, these comics done by IDW should be a template for how the new cartoons should be. I mean, these featured the original characters. Peter, Ray, Winston, and Egon are regulars. And they include a new generation of Ghostbusters as well. There were issues that featured the rookie Ghostbuster from the video game. That was a very clever way of doing it, where the rookie Ghostbuster is in charge of their Chicago division. And they also, over time, introduced new characters like Ron Alexander, Melanie Ornitz, and of course, we all know Kylie from the Extreme Ghostbusters. This is how the female Ghostbusters movie should have been done. Janine was a Ghostbuster, and of course Kylie, and they introduced a new woman to the series, and these were very interesting characters, and yet at the same time, the originals are still a part of it. What makes these comics work so well is that they remember the characters that fans want to see. And yet at the same time, they are able to introduce a whole set of characters for us Ghostbusters fans to enjoy. So if they want to do stories that don't involve the original Ghostbusters, they can, because we got to know these people over time. The fault in this cartoon is that it's based on a bad premise. And that premise is ignoring the ones we love. So, Ivan Reitman, Dan Aykroyd, if you guys are watching this video, please, please, please learn a lesson from the comics. And don't ignore the original characters. Incorporate them, because there is so much life in Ghostbusters. The failure of this new movie isn't due to the fact that people are sick of Ghostbusters. It's the fact that Ghostbusters wasn't handled right. I mean, introduce female Ghostbusters. People will love them if you do it right. Just for Ecto Force, please include the originals. They don't have to be voiced by the actors from the movies, or even from the original cartoon. They can be a completely new cast. And I'm sure if they sound right, that people will accept them. They don't even have to look like the movie counterparts, or even from the original cartoon, although that would be my preference. Or you could use Dan Schoenen's art from these comics. Make them look like that. I'm always saying this out of love for Ghostbusters, and not out of any malice towards the new movie. Because, well, I haven't seen it yet. Anyway, that's my final thoughts on it. Let me know in the comments section what you guys think, and don't forget to like and subscribe. Now, if you excuse me, I'm going to finish my Ecto Cooler. See you later.